technical issues, folks. Quick recap on what we said in the beginning. So we would like to do a storytelling game today that has heavy emphasis on cutscenes and dialogue, or monologue, maybe in this case. So the idea is our main character is a garden gnome, and they've woken up without their hat. And every garden gnome needs their hat. And so then the player goes explores, trying to find the hat, and they find things that look like the hat. And in most cases, it's not their hat. And there's some little cutscene explaining that it's not their hat. All right, so I'm thinking that this game, we're going to use 3 colors, black, white, and red.
You should, Daryl, you should close the audio settings in the Teams meeting.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yes, thank you. Very astute observers. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I'm going to use 3 colors, black, white, and red. So black and white for everything, and red for the hat or hat-like objects. So first, let's create our gnome character. So let's see, the gnome is going to be, sleeping or waking up from bed. So let me think how this would, maybe, do they just sleep in the dirt? They're just sort of sit down maybe a little bit deeper, and then they kind of rise out of the dirt. What do we think? How do gnomes sleep?
I don't think they're underground, but
I feel like they sleep standing up like horses, and then they just open their eyes.
Okay, I'm just gonna try drawing a gnome without a hat. Then I don't know if it's gonna be obvious that this is a gnome. I don't have Richard's skill at 2-color drawing. This is my first time trying it, actually. So it might not look super good. So we're definitely gonna want a big beard.
I think it might be hard to do a beard with 2-tone.
That's definitely true.
This looks pretty good, though. If you just add like maybe a 4th color or something.
Yeah. Well, let's see. The game background might be black, so I don't know if I need to draw black.
You do, or else when he's walking over tiles, you'll be able to see the tile through him.
Okay.
I think if the background is black, you should do the character in all white and the eyes black.
Right. So invert this. All right. Okay, so we've got a beard.
So I would just use the white and then make the shoulders come out from where the beard starts, and then go down a bit, and then you'll get a nice body with the beard over it for contrast.
Right. Something like that.
Yep.
Like more space. So I'm not sure. So if it's on a black background, this might come through. Okay. My stick figures are not very developed. Okay. So the thing is, the hair here is not going to come across as hair.
Give him like a little tuft that goes up. In white.
Oh, white. Yeah.
Like a more distinctive hair silhouette.
That's why the hat has to be so pointy to fit the tuft.
Let's see how this character looks on a
Oh,
Does that look
Great.
like a gnome without a hat?
Yes.
I think it's amazing.
Okay, I'll work with that. Okay, I'm gonna just shift this to fit a little bit better, and I can get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on here. Okay, so we've got our gnome, and let's see. Let's add what kind of things would be around the gnome. We gotta like convey the fact that it's in sort of a home or sleeping
Bird
area.
baths.
A garden.
Garden paths.
Yeah.
Maybe like a
yeah.
fence.
With flowers. A fence, yeah.
I
Other
can
gnomes.
do these in the tile map. So I'm gonna create a tile map for this. So let's say let's make some tiles. So a bird bath might be probably 2 tiles wide. Let's see if I can sort of feel like it'll be kind of something like that. It'll have a rim. Not quite sure how this is gonna look. Let's try it. So let's see. This ended. Oh,
It's easier if you fill in the background.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. I'll do this. All right. So, what's the first character that our gnome should encounter? Anyone have any ideas?
Maybe when you walk out of the garden, there's some construction going on.
I like it. Does that look like a bowl-ish thing?
It'll be easier to see if you put in the background.
Yeah. So let's see. And then I'll just make this one the blank file.
Yeah, I think you could either claim that's a bird bath or claim that it's a small garden pond. Both would work out.
Yeah.
In fact, if you just put a duck right next to that, it would be solid.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Let's have a little duck character. Actually, the duck I might do as a sprite, and maybe we'll interact with the duck a little bit in the story. Let's do the tile map first, and let's create a duck. Ooh. Okay. So I'm going to fill this with black just so I can think about it a little bit easier. Let's get a little bit more width here. And fill this in black. Okay. What's the duck gonna say to our character?
Maybe he'll be like, "Hey man, you look weird today. Did you get a haircut or something?" And then he'd be like, "What? No, I didn't." Or do you think the gnome, when he wakes up, would realize that he's missing the hat right away?
Mm-hmm.
Or would somebody else need to tell?
I like the idea of the duck saying it, because then the audience learns as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just got a request that the volume is very low. Can you please increase it? I think that if you turn it back up now, it'll probably be fine. I think that it was the echoing was caused by us having it on in the browser.
Yeah. How's How's it now? Is
Say
better?
thanks. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so often we use placeholders to like place our sprites, but I'm just going to look in the bottom right here to see which coordinates I want to be at. So 1, 2. So I'm just going to place the duck at 1, 2. And that works out. See, I'll have the gnome. Yeah, the gnome's at a reasonable spot, but I'm going to just say 5, 3. Just so I kind of where it is and I can shift it around later. So
I see. Now apparently the echo is back.
The echo is back. Let me do a middle ground between those two.
Yeah. Do you have Mixer open on your stream PC by any chance?
Oh, geez. Yes, that might do it. How about now?
Yeah, that's better. That goes down.
That explains it. Okay, that makes sense actually. Sorry, folks. So I'm the one managing the streams yesterday and today, and I'm a little new with the streaming stuff. Richard is the veteran, but anyway, I'll get a hang of it. So now we've got a duck next to some sort of either bowl or pond. Let me get rid of the background there so the duck doesn't overlap with the bowl at all. Bird bath, that's what it is. Okay, so let's see. Maybe the first thing is the duck says something.
The gnome have a string of Z's coming up, and then they should stop when they wake up.
Oh, yes. Let's do that.
So while you're doing that real quick, the storytelling extension, which is what Daryl is looking at right now, was something that I made to make it a little easier for doing cutscenes and things like that. So it has a lot of blocks that let you print out text character by character instead of doing it with the dialogue, which is the normal way kind of showing text in Arcade. And it also kind of lets you do things in sequence. So a lot of times you want to have like a sprite move to a location while also saying something. And in the story extension, there's this thing called queue story part, which lets you kind of break up your program into different parts that will run one after another. So if you put something inside of that queue story part, everything will keep going until that has finished, and then it'll go to the next one. So that's kind of the idea behind the extension. If you want to try it out and you have feedback, please post on the forum because I'm hoping to kind of, polish this up a bit and make it a standard arcade package. So.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's start off with those Z's coming from our gnome. So I'm gonna try just the sprites say from the story extension, and let's say ZZZ from the gnome, and let's kind of see what happens. So there we go. We see some ZZZs, and I don't know if you can hear this audio through the stream, but we also got this little typing sound as they're being played. So I think, let's see, what if we did just white text on a transparent background? Yeah. What do you guys think of that? And we can do different speeds. Yeah, I like that. Maybe the gnome does that a few times, and then let's see. So ZZZ, ZZZ, and then it like wakes up, and maybe to wake up, I wonder how we can do that. Maybe he like shakes a little bit, or maybe the duck goes like quack or something.
Yeah, the duck wakes you up. It's like quack, and you're like, "What's going on? I was sleeping."
Yeah, I like it. So that won't work what you're doing right now, Daryl, because it's going to just immediately run. But if you wrap those in a queue story part, you can. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted your explanation because I think that's what you were going to say.
Yeah. I was gonna say in blocks and in arcade, there's always this sort of ambiguity when a block takes time to do something. It should the next block run right away, or should it wait for the previous block to run? And so that's what this queue story part block is all about, helping you do. Is these blocks by default will just run one right after another. So like, for example, if I said gnome and duck, what this would do is both of them would be saying this at the same time. But now if I put them in these queue story parts, what's going to happen is it'll do one after another, like that. So that's what the queue story part is about, is do you want them to happen at the same time, or do you want things to be sequenced? This lets you control that. So actually, I'm going to create a function that is maybe scene 1, just so I can organize things a little bit better and kind of think about the story. So let's have the kind of first things that happen.
I think.
What did you say, Shannon?
You could do it in a for loop, the Z's, outside the queue story part.
Is that right? Like
yeah, if you do a repeat block and you queue it 4 times, it'll say Z 4 times. Oh, you have to put the queue story part in there with it.
Yes, right. Yeah, so let's see how. Oh, I gotta call the function. Let's call the function. So we're starting scene 1. So yeah, and then let's do another story part where the duck says quack, and we'll say duck quack. Oh. Yeah, so let's see, I'm gonna do these same text colors. There isn't a way to set a global setting for this, is there?
No, that's good feedback.
But I could create a script object and attach it to the sprite, and always use the same one for the duck. And is that right?
No, like scripts are not. You can't edit them once they're created.
I see. Okay. Okay, we'll get to scripts later, but for now, so I'm going to set these to white on transparent. So Z quack, and yeah, let's make this like fast because the duck is saying that. And I'm gonna change this to 1 just so that like while testing the scene, it's a little quicker. Quack. And then let's have, I kind of want the gnome to like jitter a little bit, like it, it just woke up. So we have a move blocks with that we can use here. And so let's see, I'm gonna just do some little quick movements. So I think what I want to do is actually do these mathematically. By taking the current position of the gnome in the X and adding maybe a little bit of random movement here. So between, let's say, -5 and 5, and we could do the same for the Y for jittering, and so what should happen now? We moved a little bit once, but we can do this trick with the for loop. Let's do this a few times and see how this looks. So he'll move around a little bit, but he won't move too far. I guess the worst he could do is, if the randomness works out, he could move 20 pixels in one direction, which I think is still going to be fine placement for the storytelling. What do you guys think of this little jitter on the wake up?
So there's another way you could do this, which is inside of the animation package, we have movement animations. And those don't work with QStoryPart by default, but you can do a pause inside of QStoryPart. So if you do a movement animation and then you pause for, like a second, you can.
Yeah. So you're talking about one of these animations, right?
Yeah, and there's one in there that's shake.
Okay. So the animation extension, I kind of went through that really quickly, but if you go to the extensions and you scroll down, it's one of the ones that is shown here by default. And since I already added it, I don't think it's going to show it to me again. But anyway, there's some great blocks in here, and we often use the frame animation in our streams, but there's also these movement animations that have a bunch of these kind of pre-built movements that you can do on a sprite. And so, yeah, let's try that. So instead of queuing up some movement that way, let's do a QStoryPart, and let's do a movement animation on the gnome, and we'll do shake, and we'll do it for a second. And what Richard was saying is, so this is going to start the animation, but it's not going to wait for it to finish. And to do that, we can use a pause. So I'm going to put a pause in here for the same duration that duration is. So each of these just need to match up. And this will make it so the animations work well within our QStory framework. So yeah, let's look at how this worked. I kind of like it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got our gnome waking up, and maybe the next thing is the duck is like, "Hey, did you get a haircut or something?"
I like it.
Let's try that. Should we name our let's do this at normal speed. Should we name our gnome?
I think it's fine to leave that to the user.
So notice how when using the storytelling extension, when we have something that takes multiple lines, it'll sort of wrap to other lines like we were just seeing here. I quite like the effect.
Yeah.
It also tries to make sure that it's always in screen. So you could see that it kind of stopped itself when it got to the left and the top. And so it would always try to make sure that the text is visible.
Yeah, that was super handy. I didn't have to do anything special. I sort of feel like we need a little bit of a pause. So he sort of like shakes himself awake, and then maybe, a little bit of a pause, and then the duck says like, "Hey." Maybe the duck says a couple lines, like, "Hey, you're awake. Your hair looks different. Did you get a haircut or something?" A little bit more of a dialogue than just one line. And so first thing, I'll try adding a pause between these. So Richard, can I just add a pause here like this, or do I need to have this in a QStoryPart?
It needs to be in a QStoryPart.
Okay. And do you have an explanation for why? Because I'm not sure.
Longer?
Oh, at the end.
So the reason why is because these QStoryParts all actually execute immediately. They don't wait to finish. They're non-blocking calls. So if you register a bunch of QStoryParts, all of that code runs immediately, but the code inside doesn't run until it's that turn for that story part. And the reason we do that is because if QStoryPart were to block, then you couldn't use it inside of on-game update or inside of button events, because it would prevent your button events from running, or it would prevent your game update loop from running, which would make your game super slow. So
right. Hence the queuing thing. So if we have the pause I hear, what that's doing is saying, don't mean about this story part until 100 milliseconds has passed, or 1,000. Versus if it's in here, then it's part of the story. And it's okay.
Yeah, and if anyone has a better wording for QStoryPart, I think it's a little programmer speak. but it was the best thing
Yeah.
I could come up with.
I kind of like it. Let's see. So let's see. I think I want to use the script part because I have several lines that the duck is saying instead of just this one line. And I'm going to go to the script section, and I'm going to say, let's see, let's create. I'm going to start with an empty script, and then I'm going to add some lines to the script, and we can start with what we wrote before, and we're going to have that line be at normal speed, and I'm going to set the coloring. Oh, whoops, not that one. I'm going to set the coloring that we want for this, which is white on transparent. And at the end, I will have the sprite, the duck, say the script. So this whole thing does the exact same thing as this one, but what we can do now that we have the script is adding more lines will be a lot easier. Let's see. So Richard, do I just add another line, or do I need to say add page?
So adding a page will cause the all of the text to disappear before it starts displaying text again, if that makes sense. So adding a page is kind of saying like, yeah. The nice thing about adding individual lines, though, is that you can control the speed for each of them, which is kind of a neat effect. You can make it so that it's more like a person talks. Sometimes you'll say something fast and then say something slow.
Yeah,
it's a lot of the things you can do with it. You can also just do with the say thing. So it's kind of like the advanced version of the say.
Right. So let's see how this looks. So I think I want some pauses in there. So I'm going to, and probably new pages. So I'm going to, You're Awake, I think worked out. So I'm going to create a new page and then also add a pause here, second pause, and then I'm going to have that when he says different, that's but when he says, oops, your hair looks, I want that to be just kind of normal speed. So the effect I'm going for is like, hey, you're awake. Your hair looks different. Something like that.
That seems very judgmental of the duck.
Yeah.
Oh, the pauses affects the entire script. That should probably be a little more. It should probably be specific.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So this is right.
Let me start writing these
We'll put it up here per for the settings for this particular script of the doc. So it wakes up. Hey, you're awake. Your hair looks different. Did you get a haircut? And then I think, do you get a haircut could be slightly faster. Yeah, what do you guys think?
I feel like the duck has so much personality now. A duck who says what he thinks.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm thinking actually, so it seems a little weird to me that the duck is hanging out over here and the gnome's down here. I feel like the duck should maybe move kind of like right there when talking to the person, the gnome. Okay, so maybe while this might be actually instead of that pause, or actually maybe right after this pause, after the wake up scene, we can say, let's move the duck Two, I'm going to look on the tile map where I want the duck to go. So our gnome's going around here. So I think I want the duck kind of like right here. So 2, 3.
Could you also
let's try
make the pond a wall?
Yeah, totally can.
And the reason I'm mentioning that is not because you can control the duck, but because this extension actually uses another extension that Joey wrote. So Joey's not here today, but he wrote an extension for doing pathfinding inside of tile maps. It'll make it so that the sprites will walk around walls when they're going to their destination. So when you use the move to tile, it'll be smart and it'll actually walk around walls to find where it needs to go.
I like it. So I'm just adjusting the position of the gnome a little bit. Okay, kind of want to, about there. So as Richard was saying, notice how the duck moves. It just kind of cuts right through the pond. And if we go here and say wall, turn that into a wall. Now, let's see how the duck moves. Notice how he avoids the pond. Yeah. I like it. So I think the duck could move a little slower, honestly. Maybe half that speed. Turns out writing a story, takes a lot of blocks and a lot of manipulation.
Can the duck also go one row down so it's like eye level with the gnome? Okay.
Yes. Row 4.
I think you should make the different very slow.
I like it. Very slow. Very meaningful. Great. So now let's see. The gnome maybe is like question mark. And then I wonder if I could do a little animation where he puts his hands up. Where's my hat? I'm gonna try that. So let's take our gnome, say, and it's gonna go question mark, and then I'm going to steal this image for the gnome, and I'm going to change it. So I'm not gonna like much of an animation. I'm just gonna do one frame of the hands being up. So let's do another story part, and in here I'm going to set the image of the gnome to be a copy of what we had, but now I'm going to move the arms, very stretchy arms, I guess. Let's see. I don't know if this will quite come across. I think that
No, I think
works.
it does. Yeah, it looks good.
I don't know why the shoulder is higher there. I should probably fix that. Move this up. And I think in the original image, I also had this weird asymmetry. Yeah, let's make this symmetrical. That's symmetrical now, I think. All right, let's see how this plays out. Looking up.
That's great.
I like it.
The gnome should also
He
say
shakes
exclamation point.
Oh,
yes.
At the end of the
No,
question,
no,
like
after
that?
No, yeah.
The hands go up.
So like in the same story part where he's putting the hands up? Yeah.
Oh, I think in the same moment, or like, well, it can just be in here. So fast. I like it. Okay, so one thing I am going to do is for the purpose of kind of testing things quickly, I'm going to jump the story ahead, and I'm going to take just the duck movement and then so hopefully I can remember how to put all this back together, but I think I will be able to. Let's start off from the duck moves, and then he goes question mark, exclamation mark, and then we'll kind of work with this for a little bit, and I'll piece it back together before the stream ends. So Gnome's alarmed. I don't think we'll get to any gameplay, but maybe let's just keep working on this cutscene, and we can pick this up some other time if we want. You know, he's upset. I wonder if he should do the little shake again, you know, as animated, or maybe just says like, "Hey, where's my hat?" Let's see.
I would like
Let's
it.
see
Actually, I like it if the gnome doesn't say anything. What if the
oh, he's like
everyone just kind of talks around the gnome? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe the duck is like, oh man, it looks like a.
You just say, "Oh, did you lose your hat?
What did you do with your?" Yeah. Oh, this is dangerous. I'm gonna for sure mess up my order. Okay, so did you lose your hat? Nonchalant. Maybe I don't need the hey because we've already said hey. Did you lose your hat? And then maybe, oh man, I wish I had emojis. I would do like the sweating, you know, maybe the sweating emoji to show how distressed.
If any community member wants to add emoji support, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, maybe that's an idea for me.
I think it would mainly just be making
a
font like at our pixel size that has emojis in it. And then we would be able to make it work.
Right. I mean, realistically, it'd just be a bunch of ASCII art. I wonder if we could actually take some of, for font size 5, we could take a bunch of the ones we have for micro. But anyway, back to the story. So, did you lose your hat? And then the gnome. Let's see. I think he can put his hands down. At least. Let's grab hands down and put that in here. And then what should the gnome do, or what should the?
Maybe there should be like a pause, and then the duck would be like, "Well, don't look at me. Go find it." And then the play is kicked off into the game.
I like it.
Find it.
So let's add a meaningful pause and probably do a couple seconds.
A poignant pause.
Don't look at me. And then maybe like kind of another meaningful pause. Well, yeah, don't look at me. And then let's say you should go find it.
Real quick, we got a question in chat. Oh, Shannon answered it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We can also answer it on stream, I guess.
Yeah, so the question was, is it possible to have an array of sprites of different kinds? And Shannon, do you want to repeat your answer?
Yeah, as long as everything in the array is a sprite, they can be whatever kind. So. Cool.
Yeah, so I said the gnome was food. I could easily create an array and grab the gnome, drop that in there, grab the duck. Oh, sorry, this is a little trick. So when you have a set variable block, you can right click and say get the variable. And so this is a list of the gnome and the duck, and they have different kinds. And this works totally fine. We can do anything we wanted with that. So let's see, back to the story. Did you lose your hat? Question mark, exclamation. I like the pause. What do you guys think? So we're actually running low on time, so I might stitch the story back together at this point, and then maybe we'll make some changes or so, and then we might call it good. So let's put this in. We've got the sleeping, and then there's also all of this, which is what the duck says right after he moves. So sleeping. Wait, where's the quack? Oh, it's the quack. Okay, quack. I did mess this up. Okay, so yes, I think this was how this went. Okay, let's go full screen. Restart. Sleeping gnome. No, let me fix the, we said we were gonna have like maybe 2 or 3 Z's there. Meaningful saying.
Daryl, your video's frozen. We can't.
Oh, it is frozen.
Looks like it just.
How long was it? How long was it frozen for? The whole story?
Yep.
Okay.
But I think if you just play it again, because we have everyone saw us construct all the pieces of it. So.
Okay. Let's play it again. Just waking up. All right. What do you guys think? Any last tweaks?
No, I think it's great as is. I really love the gnome realizing that the hat is gone.
I think if you should end on like a full screen image that is like the title of the game.
Yes, let's do it. Whoa, what should we call it? Gnome hat. You're not my hat.
Comma alone.
Gnome alone. I like it. Okay, good thing. So let's see. How should this look? Should this be? Can we change the font size in this, Richard?
No, very not.
Okay. So we could use the other text extension for this, or I could just draw a big splash screen.
Oh, you could just clear everything. It might look okay as like small text in the middle. I don't know.
Right.
Just because it's all black and white anyway. So.
Yeah. So if I say camera, I was thinking the camera slowly like pans down or something. Do we have a way of doing smooth camera motion? We have to follow a sprite, huh?
I'm adding that to the list.
Yeah, I think for now you could just
clear. So let's just clear everything.
Maybe, Richard.
Sorry, what was?
a block for clearing everything.
Oh no. Oh,
like clear scene.
Oh yeah. You can do a push scene, pop scene, or pop scene, push scene, or clear scene. That works too.
Yeah, I'll do push.
You should do it in a story part though.
This might be a good example. Oh yeah. Let's do story part, and then we'll push scene. So, what push scene does is it gets rid of everything in the current scene, which is all of our sprites, and it stores them away somewhere, and it gives you a new scene. And this is great because then we're going to show kind of the title here. So I'm just going to say, I think we can say print at location. So let's do kind of middle of the screen here, which would be whatever. It's 80 by 60 is the middle. And we're going to do white on transparent. We're going to say Gnome alone. And we'll do kind of slowish. See how that looks. So I don't really want to wait for all this. So I'm going to jump the queue. And Gnome alone. All right, and then we can say pop scene to get all that story. I think this will actually work here. I guess. Should that have worked, Richard?
Yeah. Well, I know what's happening. If you move that queue story part into the queue story part that is pushing the scene.
No.
So you can put the whole queue story part in there.
Oh, I see. This whole thing.
Well, and then take that out. Yeah. Just like that. I do believe that should work.
No, we'll look at this at this later. The pops for now. And then I think we'll have to. We already came up with the title, so actually, this is 47th stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. So here's the last of it. So I guess we can do outros. Well, I'm Daryl at Darzoo on the forum.
I'm Richard at Richard on the forum.
I'm Shannon at Shakao on the forum.
And I'm Vivian at Live Cheerful on the forum.
And before we close out, we are doing a game jam, which we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, and that's like a month-long hackathon where everyone makes games based on a theme, and the theme is gardens. So if you go to arcade.makecode.com/gamejam, you can get more info on that. And then tomorrow, I don't know, Richard, if you want to talk about this during the advanced stream.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're all going to be on the call like usual, but we're going to have a special guest who is one of the game designers at Gears of War, and he's going to be walking us through doing some level design inside of MakeCode Arcade using the tile map editor. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have questions and answers, and definitely tune in for it.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.